So you don't want to stick them outside in the sun unless you watch them. Because I've had to chase a lizard through 3 yards once. You don't want to have to do that. It was a bigger one too. And then it ended up crawling under a thorn bush, and I had to pull it out under the thorn bush. And I don't have that lizard no more, but he got sick a long time ago, but that was a long time ago. This lizard right here, he's doing really good. And I have 4 lizards, 5 lizards. And they all have a big reptile room. They run around free in there. So they have a big room. A lizard this size, you cannot stick in a small cage like this. If you do you think he's going to like it?
No.
You wouldn't want to live in a box, would you?
No.
Me neither. These guys have to be in a pretty good sized cage, at least as big as one of those tables. At least. If you put them in a small cage, they're going to get sick. And they do like a lot of water. 1,000 different species of lizards in the world. There's only 2 lizards that are poisonous out of 4,000. They can actually inject poison. One of them is called the Mexican beaded lizard from Mexico. Climb on your head. Let's see if he climbs on your head here. He's going to try to go to the carpet. Come on. Come on. You can do it. What are you doing?
Julia.
Good grip here. There you go.
Julia.
Boyfriend, Julia.
Oh, he's gonna go down. He likes the ground. Don't hurt you. You don't have to if you don't want to. He's wanting to run today.
Save it.
He might run to run.
Chelsea.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to hold him.
You don't have to. You want to pet him?
Yeah, he's cool.
He's cool. Did you pet him?
Wow.
Yeah. That's so bad, huh?
Uh-huh. An owl? What kind of owl? Pretty big, huh? You guys want to pet him? You want to pet him? Anybody else want to hold it? You want to hold it? Or do you want him to hold you, I guess? There you go. Green iguana. I'm going to tell you about those Komodo dragons at the Denver Zoo. Okay? Those Komodo dragons at the Denver Zoo did have bathroom fecal. And when they go to the bathroom in their water, the water gets on their skin. And when people pet the Komodo dragons at the zoo, and they go eat an ice cream cone, they eat the ice cream cone. I guarantee every single person that pet those lizards that caught salmonella ate either a hamburger or an ice cream cone or something right after they petted it to get the poison in their mouth. That's twice. They ate probably rotten food there and stuff. You never know. My next lizard, his name is Barney. Okay. My next lizard is a meat eater only. Okay? And I do not always. And he only eats on newspaper and he only lives on newspaper. He does not live on dirt. He does not live on wood chips. He does not live on shavings. He does not live on grass. Can you clean dirt? Can anybody here clean dirt? If you can, tell me, because I'd like to know how. It's really hard to clean dirt. Now you can wash off dirt, but dirt's still there. Dirt just doesn't disappear. When they go to the bathroom in that dirt, you can't clean it. The animals at the zoo, they like to set up their cages like natural habitats so they look like they're living in the wild and all nice, but they should not let people pet those animals because they're not made to be petted. My animals are pets. They live on newspaper, just like your dog. Your dog doesn't live, if you guys have dogs or cats, they don't live in the wild, do they?
No.
They don't eat live rabbits and chickens, do they? So they're pets. That's how you make a pet. You treat it like a pet. You don't treat a pet like a wild animal. If you do, it's not going to be a pet, and something's going to happen one of these days. Either the animal's going to hurt you, or something else is going to happen. Either you're going to get sick. Moses was born. This lizard right here is about 10 years old, and he can live for about 30 years. These guys can get about 8 foot long. So he is pretty big. This lizard right here could eat this lizard for a snack.
Get up there,
Exactly.
Julia. Come on.
What a big Komodo.
This isn't a Komodo dragon. I wish it was. Komodo dragons are about $200,000 each. This is a Nile monitor. It's related to the Komodo dragon. It is a meat eater like the Komodo dragon. It likes a lot of meat. This lizard does not get big enough to eat deer though. It doesn't get 13 foot long. Only about 8 foot long at the average was the biggest. But the average size is about 6 foot long. This lizard right here is a meat eater, like I said, but you guys are probably wondering why he's so friendly. If nobody was petting him or holding him, when you're not petting your reptile, they don't know who you are, right? Just like the next door neighbor's dog. They don't know who you are too well, do they? Some dogs. So you wouldn't walk up to him and pet him, would you?
No.
Unless they knew who you were. This lizard knows who I am when I'm holding him. So he knows I'm his pet. But when he's in his cage, he does not know who I am. He thinks I'm going to eat him. He thinks I'm going to hurt him.
Individual kids.
In the wild, they have that natural instinct. And that's why they have to protect themselves. I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. Do your dogs and cats have to kill? In the wild, when this lizard goes after a big rat or something like that, do you think the rat's going to fight for his life and try to bite back?
No.
You think he's just going to give up
No.
and say, eat me? The other one was more soft. This one's more leathery. Because in Egypt, where these guys come from, it can get up to 120 degrees in the shade. This lizard right here, I do not keep him at 100 degrees. If I kept this lizard at 100 degrees, do you think he'd be friendly and letting me hold him right now?
No, you'll be so mean.
He would be mean. You're right. That's why I keep him. He does have little saw blade teeth to hold on to his food, but not like crocodiles, razor blade teeth.
Why?
Just little saw blade teeth. Those are his ears.
It feels
That's how he hears. I do once a month, but not often. That's to keep him friendly.
Hey, Snake Man.
Uh-huh.
How do you keep this thing from biting?
And they're going to be gone pretty soon. There is some of them in the zoos and stuff like that. Now the biggest freshwater turtles you can catch in Colorado. This is good for you guys to know because you guys live in Colorado, right? The biggest freshwater turtles, you can find them in the North and South Platte River in Colorado. The biggest one ever found that I know of in Colorado was approximately about this big. It was called an alligator. Trying to eat that worm, and they go. Now there's another snapping turtle called the common snapping turtle. It's called these are the original snapping turtles that lunge out and snap. The alligator snapping turtle doesn't lunge out and snap. The lunging out snapping turtle, those ones for back east, those are the ones that a lot of people eat. Very common for turtle soup. They don't get as big, 18 inches in diameter, about this big. Biggest one I've ever seen. I've never ate turtle. The only thing, when I was about 4 years old, I actually seen a snapping turtle get cleaned and made into turtle soup. That's the only thing I remember. Anybody here know what this is made out of?
Bones.
I just said it, didn't I? This is made out of bone. Turtles' bones are on the outside of their body. Does anybody know what that's called? See how it curves in? That means this is a boy turtle, doesn't it? All the way, you can tell. The boy turtles will have a flatter shell, the girl turtles will have a higher shell, and boy turtles do something really strange. Boy turtles do a lot of flirting in the wild. This is good to know. I have a boy box turtle at home, and he'll go up in front of my girl box turtle, and he'll sit in front of my girl box turtle, and he'll start dancing, like this. Does that mean he's a boy? Because he's flirting like that? It does. Boys do a lot of talking too in the wild. Very vocal. They do a lot of, what they do is they make noises, like bullfrogs. The bullfrogs, what kind of noises do they make? Those are the boy frogs, aren't they? The girl frogs don't do that. Only the boy frogs do that. Now the most vocalist reptile is the caiman crocodile, the caiman alligator, or the alligators and crocodiles. They make loud grunt noise over the swamps. They go, and they get ran over by the cars and stuff, which is pretty sad. My next turtle has been ran over by a car, but she's still doing great. Let him go. You know why he's moving like that? Because I keep this turtle very warm. I have 2 heat pads in his cage. Remember what I said about warmth does to reptiles? It gives them energy, right? Does this turtle look like he has a lot of energy? For a turtle, he does, doesn't he? My tortoises are known to do that. They just naturally smell. But that's no problem. They're very easy to clean. If you have to, you can put them in low water, really shallow water. They're not really that bad at all. But this turtle right here is a desert tortoise from Las Vegas, Nevada. These turtles have a flat bottom. Can he close up his body?
No.
How do you think he protects his head so he doesn't get his head bit off? He can't close in no more, can he? I'm going to show you how he protects his head. Watch his feet. Watch. Everybody watch. See these tough leather feet? She uses those tough leather feet to protect herself like an elephant would with her tough skin. This turtle right here is a mommy tortoise. You can tell by her flat. No, she does not at all. The babies wander around the cage and I have a little lower water bucket for them because if they get over their head in water, they can drown really easily. And they eat about 1 to 3 times a week. And they only eat red lay flat. It's really easy. It's really fun. And the babies even know what to do. That's right. You can set him down if you want. Did he tip you over? He tipped you over. He's so heavy, isn't he? He's walking full speed right now. Now this is called a miniature spectacled caiman. Okay? This is not an alligator or a crocodile, but it is related. It's in the Crocodilius family. This one right here can only get about 6 foot long. That's about as long as that table once again, but that is big enough to take off your hand. These guys have 75 razor blade cutting teeth, and when they get over 13 foot long, which this one cannot get that big, but the big saltwater crocodiles and alligators, the longest alligator in the world, Florida, 18 foot 2 inches long. The longest saltwater crocodile in Australia, I have a video on them at home. They told me on that video they can reach over 20 foot long. So the biggest, I think, was 23 to 25 foot long. It's the biggest one ever caught. That's a lot of alligator nuggets. A lot of water that we could never see under. So you guys don't want to go swimming in Florida, and you don't want to go swimming in Australia or North Africa, because these guys will sneak up on you. You'll be in trouble. Now these guys, they don't live in the water here. So if you ever go swimming at Cherry Creek or Chatfield, you don't have to worry about these guys because it's too cold in Colorado. That's why I have a video at home that shows somebody sunbathing in Australia. Grain. Because it makes sense. I'm telling you, if I was a snake, I would rather swallow a bird head first. If you swallowed a tail first, the feathers would choke you to death. Think about that. You pet your dog head to tail, right? You don't pet him tail to head, right? If you pet him tail to head, his fur would stick up, right? He'd look funny.
To you, happy birthday.